Hello everyone, here Elohim. It's really cold. It's a lot of noise from the construction next to me, but we're gonna do it anyway. I have not sleep in days, as you can notice. I have literally not sleep. Um, let's talk because I have a new book, and the timing is not perfect, but I did the best I could. This is the entire story. I'm gonna keep my hands in my pockets because it's really cold. Once upon a time, no, honestly, I had the chance to publish my first book 10 years ago with Love and Soul. That was my first book. This video will gonna be so long, but I needed to take all of this from my chest for you because so many things have happened in 10 years and before that, and so many things are happening right now. I was working with a publishing house 10 years ago, no, over 10 years ago. I was working for this publishing house in Venezuela, which is a distributor of books called Círculo de Lectores, the Reader Circle, which is a company that sell books door to door. They sell you like a subscription, and you need to buy a book every 2 months, whatever book you want, to keep the subscription, and they send you a catalog. It was super cool. And I worked in the marketing department for them during the last years of my college after military service. So that was a very cool place to work. And I was surrounded. I had the chance to organize some signing books with some authors. I had the chance to meet a very good amount of interesting people. I have a giant discount on books, which was amazing because I continued reading like all the time. And I read so many esoteric books that were really cool, but were a couple of really good books which were really impressive. One of the biggest motivations that I always had was the fact that we have in that moment a big publishing company doing this kind of books, and because of that, most of the books that we have in Venezuela, or if you travel to Colombia, Brazil don't apply. They have like a very good industry of authors. But Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Argentina, most of the books, esoteric books, also Spain. Well, I have not been, but I have contact with a lot of people from there. Most of the books that we have in Spanish are very badly made translations from English books that they translate to Spanish. And these books, you can't translate culture, so easy like that. You can't translate a culture, you can translate a word, but you can't translate a feeling, a culture, as that's something that the book needs to work. Most of these books are badly translated, and it's not the lack of significance. It's like I'm talking about the literally wrong translation, right? Like they just translate literally word by word. So when you're reading the books, makes you question like, and that happens a lot. It's just like 2 or 3 books translated to Spanish that I have to read that I consider, these are very decent books. Like ironically, Scott Cunningham. When you read more about him on English culture, you know, okay, this is a complicated topic, a complicated author, he was not initiated, blah blah blah, etc. But his books were rightfully translated to Spanish. Those books were perfect in Spanish. Other authors don't have the same look. Most authors don't have the same look. Those books are terrible translations. As these authors celebrate like, my book is translated to Spanish, but you don't know what actually your book says because you don't read the Spanish and your book is like terrible. But in English, it's a decent book. That happens a lot. I was working in this company and I wanted to do a book for the Spanish readers. When I did that first book, no was any kind of payment for like, you're gonna receive money for copies. We're just gonna give you this amount of money. You make that book. I did it in Spanish, did very well with a very small print. Then they give me the rights back. I really like the book. We continue publishing around with a different small printer. Then we have the translation to English. and in English did better than in Spanish because was we can focus it. And in that moment, I was all the time just publishing over and over all of these screenshots of how the book was doing super well, especially in Germany, where the book like did super well and sold like a giant amount of copies for someone who was like no for anybody. Then I came to the United States and so many things happened. When I wrote that book, I was a different person, totally more immature, no, less immature, to be real. Less childish, for sure, totally. But in other aspects, I have grown a lot. I don't care about targets. That has been all the time in my life. I never care if people call me a sorcerer, hechicero, a brujo, a witch. I really don't care. Because I really don't care. That stupidity is for other people, not for me. I don't care if you. I don't care if my neighbor takes me seriously. I don't care if people think, because when you're a witch, especially when you grow up in a witch, especially when you grow up with a mom who is a witch, and you're raised in this community, you get used to people, neighbors, high school people, your own teachers bullying you because your mom came to look at you at the school totally dressed in white with a lot of necklaces in different colors. Oh, she's a santera, they are brujos, blah blah blah, and everybody's scared of you. So when you are raised in that way, whatever they say is like, oh, cool. I really don't care too much. So I really don't care about tax, but if I identify myself as something, has been always a spell worker. I am an spell worker. I think I am a very decent doser. I never offer classes or workshops on dosing because I think that's something like take too much time, and I have taken like something that for myself. I think I am a very decent tarot reader. I am a good psychic. I am between many things. I think that what I do best is spellcasting. That's my thing. Because I love science, I appreciate science, and for me, magic and sorcery has been some kind of mathematical equation that I just try to put together. And every workshop that I have teach ever, I always repeat, I understand some people prefer this intuitive thing, but I am not. Wired in that way. For me, spells are something like you need to be very precise on everything. The fact that you're reading this in a book, whoever is the author, don't mean that's going to apply to you because that author wrote or create that spell under different circumstances, a different climate, a different weather, a different astrological moment, a different the entire physical and metaphysical building that was happening was entirely different. Now when you're trying to translate that same experience to you looking for the same results, that probably not gonna work. I think that books on spells are important when they are made from people who actually do spellcasting, not just pathetic researchers. I think that is very good when you have a person who actually do spells, not just compiling stuff from other books, and this person from experience tells you this works in that way, this works in that way, this works in that way, and then you learn from that and apply it to you, to your life. You translate the spell to you. I love formulate a spell like an equation, and 10 years later I read my book and I feel like this book not just need an upgrade, this need a total update, because now my perspective is even longer. If I did this spell at that age, under these circumstances, and working that way, which is my perspective now, 10 years later, I did that spell to find a job, and I find it. But now, 10 years later, what I think about that job was a good job, how long I was in that job, was it a really resourceful situation for me, or was something that I just find a job and that job helped me to jump to a bigger position? or was a upgrade, or the contrary. I did this love spell and that worked in that moment, and this other one don't work. Now 10 years later, why I think this love spell didn't work, why I think this love spell actually works. If this love spell actually works, 10 years later, I just think I continue with that same person. That relationship worked, that relationship didn't work. What happened with that person after? When I left that person in the past, that person couldn't suffering something from the love spell that I did 10, 20 years ago, or that person actually finds some different, more comfortable position for themselves in the future. So I have that perspective, that experience, and I needed to put that in the book, right? Because for me, that's my passion. Doing spells is my passion. Everything needs to have sense. Like, why I have so many altars in the place? I can't do this thing. I really can't. My brain don't let me. We're gonna do a spell tonight. Let me build the altar right now. We do the spell and then I disarm the entire altar in the morning. I can do it, and I understand many traditions do that. I can do that. I can because I feel like the space is corrupted. You were doing other things in that space, and I'm not criticizing literally anybody, but it's my life experience. This is a place where you are eating your Chinese food and watching movies, and you have different feelings and entertainment here with friends and neighbors, and people come here and you do all kind of things here. I don't know, you hook up with your friends here, and then suddenly you're gonna put the altar here. Yeah, you did a little cleansing before, but I don't think that works in that way, because it's an energetical signature in the place. So I rather to have different altars spread around the house for different goals, with different energies, with different pantheons. This is my abundance altar, this is my altar for my customers, this is my altar for my work, job, money stuff, this is my altar for my healing. I have all of this, and I'm not saying from the entire time, you need to have 100 altars in your house, because I have been in a different position where for many years I was in a small apartment for myself, and my altar, I have said this so many times, was a chair. I put a chair in a corner, I put some bed clothes over the chair, and I put everything over the chair. And that little chair was my altar for like 5 years when I was living in a different I in my house with my parents. I go to live alone, and that was my little altar in my room. And when I grow up and expand myself in different ways, I continue having like this passion for having altars and magical things around, but I like to have them organized in different spaces, so I don't feel like the energy corrupt anybody. I think that every energy is working very well, and I just let the energy bloom. I can just set up an altar working there. Why I am like that? Maybe because I come from an Afro-Caribbean tradition, and if you have read or you have learned anything about Afro-Caribbean traditions, we don't set up altars in the place like in the Wiccan way. For us, this is what we call the portal. This is our portal, and this is where we work. For example, my mom had this giant, impressive, amazing, beautiful, stunning portal that I'm gonna be jealous until the day that I die. Literally made of stone. Why? Her entire altar is made of stone, because it's literally the root of the mountain. You go to where she works, her magical stuff, at 40 something minutes from her house. You open the door, which is a giant gate. You walk down the stairs, made of stones, made for over like 20 years, because it's literally a mountain that you are walking down, and in a little valley next to the river. So from so much walking, the hiking has formed some kind of a stone in there. And then when you are down, you have the river in there to shower before and after the ritual. And was all of this wall made of the mountain with rocks and stones and roots from different trees, and she was for years setting up stuff in there. It's not like she just get in there one day and say, this is gonna be my altar, and she started building. This was a spontaneous work, because I remember when I was like 9 or 10 years old, I remember that you could see literally the root of a giant tree coming over, and it was like, what is that? Oh, that is that tree that is in there. Those are the roots coming out from the wall. They put some pieces of wood in there and put some figures, altars, and the stuff. um, sensors and candles, and with the years this continue growing, and let me clean this space and put something here. And now when I left Venezuela in 2015, last time that I see that, I continue thinking, wow, I literally see these growings from when I was a child being built by my own mom. So for me, an altar is something permanent. It's your portal because it's your connection with the spiritual world. It's a door that you share with the spiritual world. You move from a house to another, from an apartment to another, you take your portal with you and you set up your portal. But I don't see it like something that you can just made up in the moment. Oh, we need to do this ritual right now. So we just bring the broom, burn some whatever you're burning to replace sage, and you set up the altar, you do the ritual, and you finish the ritual, you take everything off, and it's like, what happens with, the whole, you literally summon an entity here, and now you're gonna put the table to eat Chinese food. It just feels weird for me. And I know that sounds cynical because sometimes I listen to things that I say and I am so cynical with people, but it's just I am a bit grounded in that aspect. I just don't take it like I don't give things for granted, especially spiritual things. I don't give it like for granted like other people. I work with the gods. I work for my gods, and I am very proud to say that I work for them. I don't have this arrogance, this ego that I need to say that I work with them. They are gods. I am an ant who will be here temporary. I could be barely a messenger for them, and I am proud to say that I work in service for my deities. I don't need to have this aura of I work with the gods. I don't believe in that. And I learned that also from Afro-Caribbean magic. And those are the kind of things that 10 years later I continue having, but now I feel that they are going deeper in many aspects because the Elohim from 10 years ago who wrote this book, if I have a situation that I can contemplate why it's happening, that Elohim will make a spell to try to find a solution and trying to put everybody to cooperate. The Elohim, 10 years later, who rewrite this book and turn it into Bloom and Shadow, see the situation like this is the result of many other things happening, that is not just about me, it's also about what these people around me need. Maybe these people need to move in a different direction for their own benefit. Maybe the universe fulfilled that spell that I did 3 weeks ago for prosperity. These people move out and the prosperity can come because I can focus more in my work and less in the problems of these people just coming with problems all the time. So when you have that growing acceptation, I don't know, you just feel like I need to update the book. I didn't want to do it. At first, I have a lot of thought about it, and was my husband who asked me like 2 years ago when the book, we were saying, oh, the book have 8 years of publishing. My husband was the person who asked me, what are you planning to do for 10 years? You are planning to do a reissue, you should do a reissue. And I was like, no, because I don't like this thing that I see in the publishing industry. Someone, I don't remember who, if somebody remember or figure out who said it, please quote below. Someone said on August or September, I think that was on a podcast, but that stayed with me. When you have a product out there, whatever product it is, you become a brand. And it's true because for me, being a half-time publicist who also is full-time wage tarot reader with so many clients and customers, that has been an issue in my mind all the time, because many times I like when I'm doing a post on Instagram and I find myself, oh, this filter is so cool. I'm like, oh, I don't want to become that person who uses filters and fancy audios and which are the hashtags that everybody's using. So I just step down a little bit and I don't take the quality of the post off, but I just try to keep it like more natural. And when I'm doing something like, from time to time, I make some stuff to sell on Etsy, and I always, every time that I sell something on Etsy, on my Etsy page, it's like limited things that I do. Like, I did this giant bunch of incense, and I have 12 bags of this. I sell it in there. I'm not doing more incense during the rest of the year just for money. That's not my thing. Because I have another job, I totally respect, support, and love my fellow practitioners who are uh, witchy business all the year, and I would like to support them, but it's not my thing because I have another job. Jobs in plural. That keeps me busy. I try to separate the publicist from the witch, and that's so difficult because so many things that I would like to do, but at the same time, I am always like, I don't want to become that person. I don't want to become that, the TikTok witch. I don't want to become that. And working in that book, in this baby, give me the chance to literally rewrite everything from a more personal perspective, a deeper perspective, and a more magical perspective. I had a chance to do things that publishing houses don't let you do, because with publishing houses, they have their good things and the bad things. For example, working in the book, I miss so much having an entire team of people, 4 or 5 different people sending you emails to correct stuff, to correct the grammar, maybe cut down a little bit this chapter, maybe extend this, maybe move the chapter here. That kind of things are important. I miss that, and I miss knowing that I can just say people, go to buy my book in the bookstores and support the bookstores. Cool. Even when many of the bookstores refuse to have your book, go to support the bookstores and ask them for the book. I miss that. I don't miss so many things. I don't miss the timing. I like to choose the publishing date for my things, and that was pretty awesome with this book. I had the time to delay the book until I feel comfortable with the publishing. It was like, if you are a woman and you can get pregnant, but also you can choose when you have your baby, that would be awesome, right? I have the book literally in a folder with cover and everything, just there, saved for over 2 or 3 months, just waiting until I feel comfortable. I go with an astrologer, and I talk with my friend who is an astrologer, and we sit down in many Zoom conversations. And she's told me many times, you're overthinking this, and I overthink everything. I literally overthink everything. So this is normal. This is my process. Respect my process. Embrace the process with me. Embrace me. And we choose the date because there were so many things happening, and I was in that moment so grateful with my decision of self-publishing again the book, because I was thinking, if I was working with a publishing house in this book, which my friend advised me to do, and I said, no, nobody gonna touch my book without my permission. Nobody gonna remove anything from my book. Nobody gonna tell me, oh, for ethical reasons you need to. No, that in my book. No. This is a book for practitioners. They should be like smart enough to figure out things for themselves. I don't need to repeat every 3 pages that you need to have a lighter next to you if you're gonna have candles. I don't need to repeat to you that if you are burning incense, you need to have a fire extinguisher or however it's called, and cover your smoke alarms temporarily, even if it's illegal, because you're gonna be burning incense. I should not be repeating this kind of thing, because I believe that you are a grown up if you're reading this book, and I trust you that you will take care of these common sense things, and I should not be repeating these kind of things over and over and over in a book, because that's something so frustrating with the publishing houses. Like, in every spell that you write, ingredients, 6 candles, and they put you, remind them that they need to have a lighter. I'm asking you to have candles, obviously. It's common sense, you need to have something. For what else do you think you're gonna do with the candles? Please tell me. What? And I don't miss that part. I don't miss that. People can be stupid, and you need to assume that they are stupid, so please compliment them and endorse their level of stupidity. I don't want that. I am sorry for the language, because it's the truth. I don't like that. I like when people feel like you are giving them the confidence. Oh, he's asking me for candles, so I need to have a lighter. He's asking me to burn some incense, so I'm probably gonna need something uh, heat resistant to burn the incense, right? Like a bit of common sense, or that's maybe because I grew up in that kind of environment where I was like, Mom, what we do after the spell? Broom that and throw it in the garbage. We just did the spell, the energy is out there. We don't need the residues of the candles or anything. Okay, what we do? Throw it to the garbage. And I see in this book all of these like over-made metaphysical explanations. If you did a love spell, then take the ingredients and do this. If you do a money spell, you can throw this in the garbage. You're gonna take these ingredients and you're gonna make a bag, and then you're gonna bless it, and then you're gonna put it in a tree. And no, I don't grow up with that, and I don't know how people made up all of these things, and why you made up all of, why you overcomplicate the equation. The equation to make the spell work is complicated enough. You don't need to put more stuff in there. It's complicated enough. People are gonna be struggling for months or for weeks thinking, is the spell working? This works. I put so much money, time, dedication on this. Also, you're gonna give them like more responsibility. It's like too much. I don't miss that part of working with a publishing house. I don't miss the over-explaining everything, and I don't. And I was just seeing everything that is happening right now, 2025, politically around. So much stuff we are seeing, and so many things happening, and so many things that we are doing, that we are physically exhausted. I personally am so physically exhausted. My legs hurt a lot. It's 9 a.m. It's Monday. I don't work today. It's my day off in any of my two jobs. And I'm wearing shoes because after doing this video, I need to work out to do a lot of stuff that you don't see on camera. That's how exhausted we are. I was working in this book in that moment. I was asking for the endorsements, which I love because I love to be able to choose my own endorsement, to invite the people in who I trust. This is my book. I want your blog. If you would like to take some months to read it. I collected endorsements, I collected forward, and I asked to everybody have it ready for May, I think, April or May. Then past the entire month of May, June, July. And I was so stressed seeing all of this, and I was just thinking, if I were working with a publishing house, I would put the book on pre-order for months, and I will be in this constant need to repeat to the people, pre-order my book, pre-order my book, pre-order my book, because while more pre-orders you have, more possibilities are that the store's gonna ask for the book because they're gonna see how much your book is selling in pre-order, so they're gonna ask to have more copies, and blah, blah, blah. I didn't want to be that person that in the middle of the chaos, in the midst of all of this, please buy my book. Yeah, I know that the world is chaotic out there, you have so much stress, so much anxiety, blah, blah, but buy my $600 course on magic and also pre-order my book. I think that you don't need that in your timeline. So I was just keeping the book in there in the folder. Then talking with my husband constantly, like every 2-3 weeks. We should put the book in pre-order. Maybe not. Maybe wait. Then in June the book was ready and we didn't do anything. Then in July the book was ready and I was planning to publish the book in July. Then in July I contacted my friend and I said I want an astrological date for this. I don't want the book being this push, oh, we're gonna publish the book in the middle of the full moon or the Sabbath or Samhain or whatever, to make everybody talk about the book. I want this kind of slow healing balm that you put in a scar and you feel like it's healing. I want this book come out easily and just grow out there without the pressure, without the rush, without feeling like over commercialized, without feeling like in the midst of chaos, buy my book. I didn't want that. Let us work with this date, this month, this phase of the moon, this lunar phase specifically, this date, maybe on Thursday, it's Jupiter energy, maybe on Friday, because Venus, love energy, self-care, blah, blah, blah. And we were figuring out things. Where will not be the sun in that moment, which planets are retrograde in that moment, which planets are direct in that moment, Don't care about Mercury. Mercury is retrograde all the time. Don't focus on that. Focus on everything else. With this entire beautiful chart with a lot of glitter. And then we choose the date. And I say I'm gonna publish the book that day. I like that week of October 5th. I really like it. It's a good moment. Sun Wayne is coming, but don't feel so pushy. I like this moon phase. I like the solar in this station. I like we are between these Sabbaths. It's the eclipse season recently happening. It just feels right. So we're gonna put the book out in that moment. The entire month of July, just waiting. August, just waiting. September, just waiting. October came. Here is the book. Order the book. Buy the book. Some stores contact me and say in Canada and the United States, another country which I don't remember, which is in Europe. I'm sorry. We wanna order copies of the book, massive copies to sell them too. And I was like, cool, great. And it's happening, and the book is out. And I feel grateful for all the process. I feel satisfied with the process. I feel rich with the process. I embrace the process. I feel like, wow, my book is going to college and it's growing up enough that I can just don't be, constantly repeating, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book because it's a publishing house behind you and it's the haters and so many people. I continue missing that side, certain things of the publishing company, but this book came out for first time in English in a self-published edition with a small printer house that don't exist anymore, sadly. And I wanted that again, like keeping the feeling, like I don't want someone sitting down to read the book and tell me, what is this? Is this Wiccan? Is Afro-Caribbean? How you identify? Maybe we're just focusing one side, and I was like, no, because for me, spellcasting, and this is a spell book, it's like a giant tree, and every time that you're gonna do a spell, which is my goal, which of this is my goal, and this is my goal, which branch of the tree I'm gonna use to carry this goal. And I am a proud multi-traditional witch. I have been initiating so many things that I embrace and I love, and I have left some groups and congregations. I have left outside some covens, but I continue being part of those traditions in which I am initiated. I celebrate my traditions, my knowledge, my practice. I embrace them all together. I don't try to mix them. I don't try to blend them. I take each child for what it is. I embrace their uniqueness. And every time that I'm gonna do a spell, I celebrate the fact that, oh, I'm gonna do this spell for that person. Which of these branches from this giant tree I'm gonna use to get into that goal? And I wanted to reflect that in that book. I wanted just to make it bigger, more beautiful, and deeper, and smarter. I had the chance to change so many things. This is the original Wicked One Soul. This is a new one, Lumen Shadow. One of the things that I love is, and also all the illustrations and all the edition was marvelous, but I have been practicing English through poetry. I have not been writing poetry, just a little bit, but I have read a lot of poetry recently, very dark poetry, and some erotic poetry, cool, some very cool erotic poetry too. That's what I mean. And so for this book in particular, I choose to do something that other publishing houses will not let me do, which is adding spells just because. For example, between chapters, every time that you jump from a chapter to another, you have a small spell without so much explanation, and I was missing that feeling so much, because it reminded me to talking with my mom every time that we have something at home, like, this teacher is like bullying me, like that, take that candle in there and put some honey in there, and it's a praying in there, and just light that candle, and if you want to put some water, something fast and simple that works, not the over elaborate thing. And I am like that. If something is simple, you do something simple. If something is more elaborate, you do something more elaborate. Between chapters, I put all of these small spells that I have been writing in a way of poetry these little chants like on Monday morning, light this candle, rub it with this specific oil, and recite this chant, and you have the chant in there. And they put so many of these. Now, I think that I wrote 13 or 14. I just keep it in the like little gifts. I don't put them in the index or anything. If I were working with a publishing house, they will ask me, obviously, you need to put all of this in the index, and I would say no, and they will convince me to do it. And here I have the chance to don't fight that, just put it in there. Roots entwine and branches grow, let my understanding flow, shed the shell of what I know, see the world beyond the show, walking steps not mine to take for my stormy mind's own sake. Something so simple that I write for myself and took me months because I have been taking extra English classes recently for writing, no more for talking, because I talk enough. As I say, as my boss say in my boss, whoever wants to understand him, just will do it. People who don't want to understand him will just not pay attention. When people pay attention, they understand whatever he says. And then I cool, I actually like that. He's American also, by the way. So I had a chance. I have been writing in this little one. I think that's a money charm. Yeah, this is a money spell. That should not be here. I have been writing in this book all these chants and poems that has been. I made this personal goal of writing 21 poems with magical purposes in 21 days, and I did it. Then after that, I started writing. I tried to write every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday a different poem, and I put it in the book. And every little poem, every little chant have a different magical goal. And I took some of them and put them in the book. That's what I did. That's something that I love to embrace. Something also beautiful about the book is, again, I have the chance to collab with my partner, which I always love to do because I like how we work together. I like the energy. He's Virgo, he's autistic, he's more organized than me. I am Capricorn, so it's a lot of air energy, it's very grounded. We sit down and let us do in this way, let us do in this way. He thinks about things that I don't see because he's better with computers. I'm better in marketing, that's my job. So I see them like, this is a perspective from a marketing side. Let's ignore that. What would be the spiritual thing? Like, if I wanted the book sell more, obviously make it black, obviously put some roses and stuff in the cover. I had this gorgeous idea for a cover that was black with some blooms growing, beautiful like white roses with little red in the petals, like blooming around the cover with the letters in a very specific, beautiful style, with an eye in the middle of the cover. Below in the cover with some roots, and the roots are turning into like little people like mandrakes. I have this stunning idea. Over in the cover were some swords, like making a little crown that you'll take some time to see, like, oh, it's a crown. And this crown goes in like a background, turning different crowns below until it gets over the eye, like, wow. And I see the marketing perspective, and there was like these books, esoteric books with black covers, 62.3% more than others. Eyes in the cover, it helps to sell this amount, and they have green and red and blah blah blah, and this in white, and have all of these ideas. And then I take the marketing outside, and I say to myself, yeah, that's what the publicist says, what the magician says. Let's do it green, like my house, with a lot of shades of green, like the plants in my patio, and gold, because I love gold. It's like one of my favorite colors next to orange. And let's put the letters in gold. Um, let's do something in the background. So I have these letters that we bring from Venezuela, these various old letters, like from 200 or 300 years ago. I don't remember. I put some pictures on Instagram. Like, we're never gonna use those letters. It's just like a family treasure that you just pass down to the next generation. And we're gonna have a next generation, obviously, except for the cats. So let's use the letters. So we take pictures of the letters with the sun morning, and he put that in the computer and digitalize the letters and put it in green, so they are in the background of the letters with a lot of secrets in there. And I had the chance to choose my blurs by myself, the foreword by Judy Ann. Why I choose Judy Ann for the foreword? Finally had the chance to choose by myself a foreword for my book. That chance I didn't have it before. I wanted something that emanates a similar frequency to the book, and they have just 3 options for that. Where Lily Dorsey, which I didn't contact because I know she's having like a lot of work right now, events, books, interviews, documentaries, a lot of stuff, because Lily Dorsey is like the most successful person in this community. My other 2 persons were Lady Ria and Judy Annock. Judy Annock accepted to do it with a perfect timing, because I wanted an energy that feels like they are in the same frequency than the book. If I work with a publishing house, they will ask me who is the person, needs to fill these conditions. Even when you have the forward, they can say no. Many times they're gonna ask you who is this person on social media, because the reason why my book Manifestation Magic don't have a cover, and it's a spine that I continue having in my heart, of which I'm gonna end healing in 5 or 10 years, because it's a long process, is I have the perfect person for the forward, and the publishing house says no, we don't want that person because that person is not popular on Instagram, blah blah blah, don't have many books published, and they wanted to force on the book a person that I didn't want to have. And the entire argument that I have documented is, this person is white, we're gonna help you sell more. I obviously immediately say no, because I feel insulted on that, like you can just dismiss the craft in that way. And I choose not to have forward, and they were extremely pushy, and I has never been more stubborn in my life like that. When they call me and they say, is this person? And they say no, no, and no, and I didn't have the forward because I didn't want it. Now here I have a chance to heal that certain aspect and say, I want a forward, and the forward needs to be one of these 3 persons, and Judy accepts. Why I choose Judy? Because I wanted energy, again, that feels like the frequency of the book. I know Judy personally, we have talked a lot privately, we have been in many virtual events together, we did a signing book in person together, we have a coffee together one time, we have talked so much, we have been, I think that we have a good going out, not in an aspect just of friendship, but also as a witchy person. I respect her work. She's an amazing artist, and she has this Wiccan strong influence in her craft that when I read her books, it feels like home. It feels like this is the place, and I want my book to be in that same place. I want that energy around. I don't want a strict Wiccan person. I don't want a strict voodoo person. I want someone who can move between the ways. I don't feel forced, because sometimes I read books from people who are between 2 or 3 different traditions, and you feel the struggle in their life. The way how they write certain things, they show you the complications they have, and it's like, I don't want that energy. I belong to many different traditions in which I have initiated, and I go nicely between them, and I don't feel the conflict, and I wanted that, and Julie have that beautiful, powerful energy that she emanates every time that she walks into a room. And I say, I want that forward in the book. And every step in the book was like that. I wanted to do something magical, mystical, powerful, but a long term. I was looking to have the pushing book that everybody's talking about it. I wanted let it grow with the time. I want that. I want not to be every day repeating buy my book, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. I just want people to know, oh, he had this book. I want to die, and I want people to remember that I wrote this book. That's all. I feel very proud about it. I was planning to record this video for the release of the book. That was my publicist side talking. That was, we're gonna do 4 videos to release in 4 weeks, talking about different aspects of the book. We're gonna do 2 Instagram lives, we're gonna do a Facebook live, we're gonna do this and this and that, and I make the calendar. And then I ask again what my witch spiritual side is saying. That is not a spiritual side. Let's let the book flow for itself. And I say, let's wait a month to make the video. And no, it was a month. Actually, I remember the conversation with myself was, let's wait 3 weeks to make the video. Then I sit down here with a different outfit to record the video. It was too cold, it started raining, the audio was weird, so I stopped. Then 3 days ago, I try again after Halloween night. The weather was horrible, my kittens were all over the place, they were jumping all over. I needed to finish the video. Then I just recorded again, and after 18 minutes I noticed that I didn't have audio. Then today I say, let's do the video, because I have the day off from work. I have 4 hours free, so let me do the video before to take on all the rest of my responsibilities for today. Blue Man Shadow is available on Amazon. I'm gonna put the link below. Buy my book or not. Stay well, stay safe, stay kind. That's much more important than buying books. Do your magic. Be yourself. Embrace your magic, and don't care how different your magic it is from other practitioners. That's actually what makes your magic unique. It's not about being authentic, it's about letting the magic work. If your magic is not working, something is happening. Many times people are just comparing themselves with other people. Why my spell don't look like your spell? Oh, he should be doing it in this way. What is important is that your magic works. If your magic is not working, don't care what you say, don't care what you're trying to sell, don't care what you say about other people, don't care what you're trying to show off to other people. You continue living a shitty life because your magic is not working. Or you have a great life surrounded by people who actually loves you, family who loves you, people who reminds you how worthy you are, because your magic is working and you are bringing things to your life to empower you and encourage you, heal you, push you, and protect you. And you can have the chance to do things in your way from time to time, like I just did. That's what really matters. Stay safe, stay well, stay kind, be magical, stay wild. Bye. Take care. Please take care. Bye.